flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man over there.
You ain't right.
You ain't right.
You ain't right.
Showing lots of love.
Lots of love.
For the community.
That's me, Joy.
With great advice, I know who I should go see.
Sing it, Karis.
All right.
Show.
For the music that comforts my soul.
We're on the air.
It's
It's a whole around town.
Watch the damn video.
Radio. Hey, y'all. Hello, everybody.
How you doing, Karis?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. What's going on?
Just, sitting here for Joy and Judgment.
I'm Joy.
I'm Joy, too.
Your judgment.
I'm Judgment.
I'm a little bit country. You're a little bit rock and roll. Now, here we go.
A little bit country.
Who's on here with us? The Wanderers have joined us. The Wanderers. Hi
Daniel
there.
Bryant. He plays in Voodoo Child's band.
Oh, yeah?
He does.
Oh, yeah? Boy, that looked good, by the way.
Woo-wee.
Ooh, that was smoking hot.
Can't breathe when he's around. I lose all sense of human.
Yeah. Well, that and Casey James. I saw your little snuggled up pic with Casey James, you dog.
He's
you.
so dreamy.
He is dreamy.
He's
He
so
was dreamy to talk to, actually. He was really
he's lovely.
super guy.
He's lovely.
Hi,
Yeah.
Bob Flanagan. What's
Hi,
going on?
Bob.
Bill Marks is in the hi,
Hi,
Bill.
Bill. I like that Bill's been joining us, and he's got a lot of nice things to say. I like it.
Bill's in the pool.
Level-headed.
Hi, Bill, in the pool. Chris Lee is here. He doesn't understand the question. You never do, Chris. All right. It's all right. You'll understand in a minute because I'm going to turn the dogs loose.
Woof, woof.
Yes, look out. Kenny Cunningham, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Devin Douglas in the house. Hi, Devin.
Hello, Devin.
What's up? Who else we got here? Daniel says thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bob Klein.
Devin remembered to get on. Thank you, Devin.
Don't forget to get off.
Oh, my God. Really?
Boom. No?
You're starting out that way today, huh?
I mean, it was literally like I had no other option.
Oh, you have all kinds of options.
No, I feel like I wasn't with that one, with that statement.
You have the right to remain silent, however you choose not
That's
to.
never gonna work.
You choose not to. Hi, TJ. What's up, brother?
Imagine if I was silent on the show. Mm-hmm.
Chris Lee, another reason I have to continue as a solo artist, band questions are too confusing. Well, this could involve anybody, actually, as we talk about one of the topics today. Yeah. Ryan Schwab, how are you? Courtney Joe, thank you for being here. So, Karis, big voice competition.
Oh, yeah.
So cool. And you're ending it up this week. Is this your final one?
Yeah, this coming Sunday is the the finale of the B&B Voice.
Boy, I saw some videos from that. It was on fire.
It really was. I mean, it's something special. It is really something special.
You've got some talented people there, not to mention the judge talent. I mean, the judge talent singing with them. That was just incredible. Gina's video, oh my God, with, is it Voodoo Child or whatever it is? Yeah.
Daryl McCarthy. His stage name is Voodoo Child.
That was unbelievable.
There's something very remarkable about that man's voice. And everything, stage presence,
was good.
the whole thing. Yeah,
it was good. Thank you, Marianne. Says she's loving the voice competition. Yeah. Hi, Kara. How are you? And Ryan Schwab.
I will be. It will be like either a yearly or like we'll do maybe one or two a year. But
that's pretty cool. I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
and that's like giving back to the music community too, because you're showcasing all these people who get a chance that never really get a chance to be discovered.
I don't know, but that's exactly why we did. I mean, I know that a lot of these people have more followers. I know that a lot of these people are probably going to be I'm going to be I get to see who's got all this talent and who I want to book for certain things too. You know what I mean? There's definitely going to be bookings for these people. There is no doubt about that. And and that was when people were like, how are you doing this, like the judging and everything, and people are like, well, why don't you do audience? I'm like, no, because then it becomes like a not really about the voice. It becomes about brings the most friends, and that's not what this is about.
Yeah, those never work.
Those never work.
Never
I want this to strictly be about, so, and if nobody showed up, nobody showed up. That was the risk we were going to take. But the point is, these people have such unique voices, each of them. And, we go by a point system because that seems like the most fair thing to do, but they're all getting a little bit extra exposure, I think.
Precisely. No, it's good. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I sent you a message the other day congratulating you because there are few and far between that are that well run and that well organized and that well thought out. Most of them they have one thought. It's like a battle of the bands. And it's how many people can we pack in here this band bring and me sell drinks to? I mean, that's what those are all designed around, unfortunately, and not always around talent. And you've surrounded it with talent, and I think it's great. Thank you, Ted.
Yeah, I think we decided to give the runner up, and I got to be honest with you. I think that there's a very strong possibility that the final four are each going to get a gig, because to me personally, they're all absolutely phenomenal at what they do. So
perfect. Sounds good. Let's get to the topic today. It's Hot Topic Tuesday. And interestingly enough, you came up with this topic back earlier last week and shot it my way, and I think it's a great one. And I think that you've added two things to it, to kind of a two-edged sword here. It's a band responsibility side, and it's a venue owner's responsibility side on some of the things. We've touched base on what bands get paid and all that. It's not about door covers. It's not about all that crap. This is about agreed upon prices. This is about agreed upon product that the band's going to bring.
And let me also say, this has nothing to do with subs. Hi, Billy. This is nothing to do, and Jim, TJ, this is nothing to do with subs. I remember one of our earlier shows when we first started doing this, we had a conversation. Is it better to cancel or get a sub? I'm 100% always behind getting a sub. The stage looks better with at least, a sub on there than with nobody on there most of the time, So this has nothing to do with subs either. This is literally about, and I've heard of promoters not paying their bands.
Oh, yes.
We know all about that.
We do.
And I've recently heard about venue owners, and I will never mention names, and I'm not going to mention any details, but I mean, something just as recent. I know a venue owner right now is about to go out of business, and they're being sued because they haven't paid their bands, and they were relying on the cover to pay their bands. And listen, I'm all for go big or go home, but you better have something backing for this going big business. You can't just decide at the last minute, well, I'm not going to pay you. Yes, you are going to pay me. You are going to pay. That's your job. I mean, not your job. That's what we signed up for. This was the agreement. And to go back on your agreement and stiff a band like that is just tacky and just gross.
I love that comment because that is so freaking true. You'd never let me off the hook about not mentioning names. You'd be going, who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
I would 100%.
Every single time.
No doubt about that. I'm not denying that.
Well, I'm not here to name names either because, I named a name of a band a few weeks ago and got in trouble. I mean, they're in
Florida right now.
Went for my jug. Ann is down in my old stomping grounds of Fort Myers and love that. And they played like down there.
A great time.
It did. And that's crazy. Bill says, don't F with people's money. No,
but here's the problem is, listen, and I'm going to state this straight up before we move forward is, yes, obviously the answer is communication. You have it before, so that there's discussions, but let's be realistic. If communication was able to solve everything, then we wouldn't be having this discussion to begin with. So it is absolutely ridiculous that a venue owner or promoter or anybody who's agreeing to pay these bands decides not to pay these bands. Now, that leads me into the next question. What is the responsibility of a venue owner if that venue owner who has no bad reputation, let's say, and this is not about me. Let me make this straight. This is not about me. Not at all. Okay. A fellow venue owner, it bothered me when I heard this. So let me put it this. What if that venue owner with no bad reputation does pay all of their bands? Okay. They made the commitment with this band and they promised them this certain product, but they show up to the gig half-ass with not even the full band. They're supposed to have 4 people. They show up with 2 people. So it's now become a duo and not a full band, and everything's being played to tracks. You think that venue owner should pay them the same amount? And there was no communication for that. In my opinion, that is utterly disrespectful. If you don't have enough respect for your own band and you're trying to go into a venue and completely, how do you have the audacity to do that? Sometimes, you've only get one impression and you're lucky if you get 2. And you go and you do, and you think that's okay. You think that venue owner should still pay you the full thing, even though it's not what you agreed upon?
Interesting. Devin said the C word, contract.
Well, that's
true. Interesting.
And like I said, contracts more and more so are really important nowadays. I completely agree. But a lot of people don't do them. It's usually, but I'm telling you, it probably should be. But should the venue owner feel obligated to pay them for their full product when they only got half of it? If you went and ordered a steak and you got half of your steak, are you supposed to pay for half of your steak?
Can we back up a minute? I want to hit on what you said about the lack of paying. More and more, this is what I'm hearing about some of these venues, and anybody out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is what's on the street, is that there's an agreed upon price. Everybody says, okay, that's what the band's going to make for the night. And most people try to avoid that door and all that stuff we've talked about. They just say, here's what the band costs. And unfortunately for bands and such, the bar can only make so much money. So really the pay for bands hasn't changed from $100 a person basically in the band for a lot of years for a lot of these bands. But as I'm saying here, the venue owner leaves at the end of the night or a little bit early. The band goes to get paid and the bartender's like, oh, the owner's got to pay you. I can't do that. I can't write checks. I can't do this. I can't. And it seems to be more and more prevalent that they have to then go find the owner the next week, and the owner stonewalls them for a while and puts them off. And it almost seems to me like the owner is trying to make enough money to pay the band throughout that week.
What's happening.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And that's a shame. I mean, it is. And I get it. If you don't bring any people in, you don't make any money that night, but that's a risk you take every time you have a band. And if you have a night that, let's say the monsoon comes and the highway gets jammed due to wrecks and all that, and you don't get all the people you'd normally get, you're still paying the band, aren't you?
Still paying the band. Well, I think 100% I'm still paying the band. Aaron has a question. I think that's relating exactly to what you're saying.
Let me get there.
Aaron Thomas. I'm going to read it out loud. Hi, folks. Real quick. Les Pay story went like this. Venue was not happy with turnout. I had a signed contract. Venue said, oh, you were great. We really want you back, but can you work with us? I had a signed contract and got the amount negotiated. Venue did not have us back for quite some time after that. Details will hopefully always work in your favor. What is, I don't, wait. So did you work with them or not, Aaron? Were you working with them on the basis that they would bring you back?
Interesting. Negotiating a lower price to come back again, maybe. I don't know. Aaron will have to answer that. But
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I'm seeing a lot of great comments here. People are all over this, and it's a hot topic. It is, and the whole pay thing is a hot topic, along with exactly what you said, Karis, about the product. It's right on the band's shoulders as well. If you don't bring a product, what's that venue owner supposed to do? If you were supposed to be a 5-piece band and you show up with 2 people playing an acoustic duo and you kill their night because that's not what they normally have, they have a full band. What's the owner supposed to do?
Right. What are they supposed to do? Because you know what? Here's the thing.
Here's your $1,500. Move on. You know, I mean,
well, and here's the thing: venue owners, like the legit ones, almost feel like they have to, because that band who easily didn't respect the venue or the owner or their band, in my opinion, by even communicating this with the venue owner, would probably have no problem bashing them publicly by saying this venue owner didn't pay us for our product, without mentioning the fact that they didn't even bring their own product. So you almost have to save your ass by paying them and then never booking them again, which, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'd probably end up paying them too. I've fallen into that a long time ago. It didn't affect my numbers, but I never booked them again. But I paid them the agreed price.
Aaron said they wanted to pay us less than the agreed. Aaron, I used to work at a place that I quit working there because of those practices. Oh, okay. Actually, he said I did not accept those terms and got the full amount, and they didn't have you back. Yeah, because there's another person who promises the world and doesn't always come through.
You can't, you know, it can't always be the band's response like that. Back, you know, if you have a bad night, you have a bad night. I remember Kevin McCoy came once and it was a snowstorm, and I made them drive there. So you bet your ass I'm going to pay them, even if we don't have a good night. It ended up being a great night, maybe not money wise, but it was a great night.
Right.
But it's my responsibility as a venue owner to live up to what I agreed upon, or I deserve to be bashed. But it's your responsibility as a band or an artist to also live up to what was agreed upon. And don't pull some shady BS by saying, well, we still showed up, so we should still get. No, half you all showed up and you gave a half-ass show and you didn't respect the owner enough, or venue, whoever the booker is, to even communicate this with them. That's trash, bro. Trash.
And I think Devin's got a valid point here too. And I've seen this a lot. And we're not talking about someone inviting a fellow musician up to do a song with them. We're talking about someone who books the night and then decides, oh, I'm going to bring this prodigy of mine with me, this younger new musician, and lets them play an hour and a half of their sets.
Yeah, no.
You know, that's not what you're paying for as an owner.
What I'm paying for.
And that's sad. It is. And I've seen it happen so often, especially in the solo duo world. That seems to happen a lot more than it does with bands. I was at a show with a band the other night, and Nick Wheeler from Truck got up and sang a great song with him. It was a huge hit. He did one and done, dropped the mic, I'm off the stage, you know, and they invited him up to do that. It was great for the show. And we're not talking about subs here. If you're just joining the show too, we're not talking about a band that has subs. I saw Dat Band on Saturday night at the Casino Caris, and I will tell you, they had Derek Davidson on keyboard. They had a new guitarist, and they smashed it. They were killing it. That was so good.
This has nothing to do. I commend anybody that takes the time to find subs. I will 100% thank you and applaud you for taking the time to find subs. That is not what we're talking about here. Okay. It's about giving. When we book a band, we book a 5-piece band to play drums, guitar, bass, vocal, whatever else, 4-piece. And you show up with one acoustic, and you show up with an acoustic guitar and a singer. That is not what we booked. You know, when you look at what a band or musician has just in equipment or instruments they play for us, I mean, look at the amount of money everyone has on a Thursday night open jam. But I don't understand what that's about. What do you?
Well, just the money that comes in equipment alone that band carries in. I get what he's saying there. Rob's talking about $100. I always joke with owners who, and I'm kind of serious about it, who talk about, I'm not paying a sound man $250. You have no clue in some ways that the microphone that's sticking in that kick drum is worth more than that. You know, I mean, it's the equipment that goes into it is amazing, and what it costs a band to play. So most of the bands are doing it for the love of music. They're not doing it to get rich.
Oh, we changed. We're talking about just pay now.
Yeah, I think what he said there was just talking about pay, but
oh, okay.
Jamie wants to know if she missed anything juicy.
You did miss some juiciness, and I'll fill you in, girl. Obviously, I mean, nobody's saying that. I think you missed the point, though, Rob. What we're discussing is a band making a booking and not bringing the band that the booking was fun. Nobody's discussing bands not getting paid. I don't know. Yeah.
And Karis, if you're a 5 or 6 piece band, you got 2 guitarists and one guitarist is off for the night or whatever. I've seen a lot of bands do that. It doesn't bother a thing.
That doesn't bother me. That's not what I'm talking about. Again, it's not about one guitarist out of 2 not showing. It's not about you getting a sub. It's about making you have a product. If I'm online and I ordered a pair of jeans and I get a pair of shorts, that's not the product. That's half the product of what I ordered. Those are 2 completely different things.
Well, and it's different again. Subs and people joining in. Bob says they don't get people up on stage. That's not what the venue's paying them for. I understand that. But if Steven Tyler walks into your show by some chance and you don't take an opportunity to try to get him to come up on stage and sing a song, I mean, that's different. Now, if it's a local musician and they're standing in the back being judgy of you and all that, no, you're not going to invite them up on stage. You're never going to do that. But I think this thing's a bigger problem than a lot of people think with bands. I've seen it happen. And, the drummer can't come tonight, so we're going to do the unplugged version. That's not what you're paying for.
No. And the fact that you don't even discuss this with the person that booked you, that's my problem. You didn't even find the time to try to find a replacement. This is my problem.
And Karis, people are going to say sometimes, oh, well, the acoustic duo is fantastic. And they may very well be, but it's about image. You go to a bar that has bands on the weekends, full bands, and you walk in on a Friday night and there's a guitar and a singer standing up there. And they're all going to be people they're going to look at that and say, oh, this is going to be slow night. It's going to be boring. Even if it's not. Let's
just stop making excuses for people for being wrong. It doesn't matter if, and you're right, Scott, it doesn't matter if the acoustic duo is great. That's besides the point. It doesn't matter if the shorts look good on me. That's right, besides the point. The point is I'm paying for a product. I expect that product to be delivered, not half of it. And I expect communication. Okay? You don't get to decide what plays on my stage. I get to decide what plays on my stage. You can decide what you want to get paid, but you don't get to change the rules in the middle of it without discussing it with me, just like I don't. I don't get to tell you, well, if you brought me the exact product that I ordered and I promised you, I'm just saying $1,000, but I'm only going to give you $500. I'm sure as shit thinking you ain't going to be happy about that. You don't get to change it, and I don't get to change it. It's about common decency and respect. Communicate and be a good freaking decent human, dudes.
It's like ordering a large pizza and getting a small. I mean, it's just that simple. It is. When I order your band, I expect to see your band that I'm familiar with, that I have booked because I've been familiar with. And there's been a lot of really good bands that have done this.
And they haven't. And Courtney, you're right. Yes. Acoustic versus band is a whole different vibe. Hence why people ask for full bands and hence why people ask for acoustic.
Gina McCann, you're late. That's a demerit. Don't let it happen again.
You and Gina? I are going to have a talking young lady.
Gina. Yes, Gina. And Devin, I like your comment there. When you're a business owner, every night has to be a banger. Yeah, that's what a business owner wants. That keeps people in the room. It does. What's Brandon got to say here? Brandon Harvey from the Party Punch Band. Let's see what's shaking here. I've seen a band that's well known that didn't start on time, like 15, 20 minutes late, played a half-ass set before taking a break. Pretty sure they still got paid the same. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much lackluster in this business, and they're in both sides of it in some places. Absolutely. But certainly folks who, especially we talked about a few weeks back, when they get to the top of the pile, then they think they have to, they're not working anymore. They're just come in and do their thing. They play the same set. They do all that. You never can stop striving for that brass ring. It's always up there and attainable, but you got to keep going. And when you do reach it, then take the bar to a higher level, not take the band down to 2 people and play with a bunch of backing tracks.
That's not what I ordered. I ordered a Big Mac with a large fries, not 3 chicken nuggets.
You like nuggets, though, don't you?
I love them all.
You do. I know.
My business doesn't.
You like buntinis, too.
I love buntinis.
Yes, where's Mary? I haven't seen her on here in a while. We're going to have to get on her. Yes. Devin says Party Punch would never. And Party Punch Band exceeds her expectations.
Chad's comment. Put up Chad's comment. when you Timo. I think it's Timu.
Oh, Timu or whatever it is.
Win the comment of the day.
God, I got
Funny
Chad Applegate. Yes, Chad Applegate, ladies and gentlemen. We love Chad Applegate. We do. I do. Wow. What's Kara have to say here? She said, saw a band take a break after 2 songs, started late as well. I left. Yeah.
Oh, I'd be livid. I'd be livid.
You know, I'm going to tell you this too. I saw Kevin McCoy trio the other night. And they're fantastic. You know, Kevin, and he always puts on a great show. Never took a freaking break the whole night. Never and I got there into the second set and they said, this is the second set, but he never took a first set. It was just, he's played all the way through, played 3 hours straight, never took a break. One of them will run off, go to the bathroom, come back. And I mean, that's how it works. That's quality.
Joshua Baker, how many guitar players do you have in your band? Like, what are you talking about with one guitar player? What does that mean? How many people are in your band?
They probably have 2 guitar players and one couldn't be there. Truck does that, and they have all 3 of the guys that play guitar. They can miss one, and it doesn't stop the show, and it's still a good show. But when you don't have the drummer and you don't have
that's different. That's
half the band or whatever, it just doesn't work. We're talking about
a full band show going to an acoustic show with tracks, basically karaoke. No.
Yeah, and Marianne, that is a pet peeve of mine, like none other. 2 long breaks. Breaks will kill the vibe of a place.
There's a couple people that do that, and they're so good too.
Steve Craig says breaks, boo. I agree.
It drives me up the wall.
Joshua has 2.
Yeah, that's different, Joshua.
Yeah. And Marianne said 3 weeks ago. And not to mention, and Ann says no breaks, LOL. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm well aware breaks are needed, but there are a few bands that don't take breaks, and I'm not going to lie, I appreciate that. But obviously, I expect bands to take breaks. I know it's not. I know this shit isn't easy.
Right. Well, and there's a 2-edged sword on that one too. Sometimes breaks create more sales. Sometimes. If the band's really got everybody, and that used to be the old adage in the disco days when we were playing music in big clubs with lots of people, you had to have a 15-minute slow set every hour, because that slow set, if they weren't rubbing bellies on the dance floor, man, they were going to the bar and getting drinks, and that's what you wanted to do, sell booze. But that's a whole different era,
Yeah, no, you're Marianne, 40 minutes on 40. No, I'd be pissed if that was the case.
No, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. What else? Bands with stamina. I like it. And then Whiskey Town will give you a full meal deal, not just the nuggets. Thank you, Kenny. That's great. And Courtney's taking hers down to 2 breaks. She's full on psycho and the heart needs a breather. I get it, though. You get a break every once in a while. You do. And one thing I like, too, is if a band's got a lead singer every once in a while that's like the front person, that's all they do is sing, is occasionally they kick it over to a guitar player who does a song or whatever, gives that lead singer a little vocal break for a minute to get something to drink, do all that, which is a good thing as well. Yeah. And here is my philosophical brother from another mother, Kevin Cooper, always coming through with the great comments. Long breaks are a killer. Short breaks are necessary vocally. How do bands out there deal with the crowd members talking in your ears off? That is the hard part of not being rude to the customer who's there and wants to pull you off to the side and talk to you. I get it. And in fact, I've looked at people, they've come over and talked to me from bands. I'm like, you guys we could talk some other time. You probably need to get back on stage, don't you? That kind of thing. And they will. But yeah, that's a problem because people want a piece of you.
One of my favorite bands takes two 30-minute breaks. And that last one just kills the night. Kills
right. And if you wanted to pay somebody to stand on the patio and have a smoke or do whatever they're doing, you could do that a lot cheaper than paying a full band. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much.
Randy says 3-hour show, either no breaks or 15-minute break. Keep it going. It's not that tough. No, it's not. What else you got, Karis, on this topic? You're hearing this more and more, because I'm hearing it more and more about the side on the bands that are. Everybody's got a version since COVID and all that. They've got an acoustic version and a this version and that version. And if you book the band, you want the band, not the acoustic version.
Yeah,
I think that needs to be made clear in the booking agreement sometimes. And you're right. Contracts are coming. They are, for even local bands, which I never thought I'd say that.
So then let me ask this question then. What happens then? Like, how does the band that shows up with half a band, what is their, like, we know that the venue owner has to stick to the contract of, like, they have to pay the $1,000, right? But what happens to the band if they break the contract and only bring half the band? Are we allowed to put in the contract, if you only bring half the band, then you owe me half the money? I mean, is that
interesting point?
Do you know what I mean? Like, how does the band pay the price? It's still going to ruin my reputation by you stepping on the stage with half-ass band.
I was thinking about this today. I thought about that too. What if the owner just looked at him and said, well, now I'm not going to half your pay for having half a band. You owe me the half I was going to pay you, because
that's what I'm saying.
I lost that much money.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. Wouldn't that be an interesting twist? But that goes back to that old adage too. You going to bring anybody to the show? I mean, it's people get so mad about that question. That's really an honest question. Does your band bring people to the show? Because I want to book bands that are not going to supplement my crowd.
I'm so tired of people even arguing that that's a bad question. It's honestly, the people that are arguing that clearly don't bring anybody to their show.
Well, you have a bit of and don't take offense, a skewed perspective on this, because you have a bar that has a built-in crowd most of the time. And some bars do not. Some bar, it's, you're my boy Blue sitting at the bar, and that's about all that's there, unless the band brings people. And if they don't, then it's you're my boy Blue and the bartender and the band. So that's where they get into that question, like, can you bring me people? Because I desperately need people to come into my bar.
But why?
Why are they booking bands?
I still don't understand why that's an issue. I mean, that's why we have Singo. That's why I have karaoke. That's why I book bands, is to bring people into the bar. Even if I didn't start off with this crowd, like, we pay this entertainment to help us bring people into the bar, and you're still getting paid, and you're going to want tips. So I still don't understand how that's a bad question.
That's actually a good comment Kevin Cooper made too. That's a fine line too, because you've got, entertainment is a top priority, but building relationships with the customers is as well. So there's a fine line for how long you're off the stage and shaking hands and making friends and all that. I agree, Kevin. I think if I go to a place and the band doesn't even recognize anyone in the audience at all, then that's a bit stuffy for me too. So, and there are some bands like that, if you're not coming off the stage, I get it. If you do come off the stage though, you got to go have pee time. You got to go have, get a drink time or whatever, but you need to work the room a little bit, shake hands,
you should
be friendly.
You should. I mean, it could only help you in the long run. All of this only helps you, like, being shady. I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, after what I heard about that band showing up with half a band, not only am I never going to book this band again, I'm going to take away their scheduled booking, because I'm not risking that.
Well, too, terminology can mean a lot. Because if you take, and these are not the people we're talking about, but if you take like Brandy Evans's band Strangelove, and then there's a Love Unplugged, and then there's a Brandy and the Beard, and some bar owners who don't know them and know the makeup of those bands might say, oh, it's Brandy, it's Love Unplugged, yeah, let's book them, and not realizing that's a duo, or a trio. So I think you really have to communicate and find out if you put light at the end of your thing, or you put some name, such as that being Ladder does one. They call it Step Ladder. That's their step down unplugged version of Ladder, the rock band. So you really need to know the terminology and what's going on. Bob, I agree with you. I think contracts are coming, man.
I think contracts are coming too, but
in the 80s they were prevalent. I never played a music show as I was with the band without a contract. Every small bar owner had you do a contract. So it was interesting back then. And we had our own contract as well. And it wasn't for green M&Ms in the dressing room or any of that crap. It was just basically, you're going to pay us this amount of money. We're going to provide this product to you with PA and everything else, Mm-hmm. And do you get any discounts from bands for providing a PA, Karis?
What's some of them, yes. It's funny because a lot of these people's selling point to me was, since we have to bring our PA, we got to charge this. Well, so I've contacted some of these bands because they keep reaching out, and I was like, well, I have my own PA. Yeah, but we still, it's just all a ploy. They're still going to get them. They still want the money. But a lot of them, they're like, oh yeah, if we don't have to bring our PA, then,
it should be less money if they don't.
It should be less money
because that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. You don't have to bring any equipment except for your direct equipment. I've provided everything. I've even hired now an in-house sound man for starting as soon as, he has obligations, so he can't do it like every weekend. But there's no reason for that.
Mike Quinn, that's a great point about Under the Sun. And I like that. When that happens, if the band's going to take a designated break and they decide not to play ambient, just cover music in the background, and they have a new artist that wants to get a little exposure, come up and play 15 minutes while that's their break time, that's great. If they play 45 minutes to an hour and a half, that's not so great, because that's just killing time for the band who's getting paid.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, the slow acoustic thing can really kill a mood.
I don't disagree with you. I think, but I also think that if you want to showcase somebody and they can get up there and keep the crowd entertained, why not?
Definitely.
Yeah. I had a guy touring through town that a friend of mine was booking all throughout the United States, and he played keyboard and sang, and he came to one of my trivia nights and he played on the breaks.
Nice.
He played before we started. He did a great job. Everybody loved him, and he sold CDs. He got followers.
Nice.
That's what he was doing. So that's just fun stuff. Hi, Quentin. Were your ears burning? I was just talking about you, man. We were talking about Ladder and Step Ladder, the different terminology for different versions of a band. Hi, Billy. Thanks for being here. And
I heard it was packed. That's awesome.
Good for Dell.
I have no doubt. Hopefully they don't oversaturate, and you know what I mean? They should,
I think they're too damn old to oversaturate that band. Honestly, those guys are great, and I don't think they want to play as much. I saw a great band over the weekend who said, they'd be happy playing twice a month, maybe once a month. So I think that's good.
I think that's really good, honestly, because then you're still attracting your crowd. It's if you're playing too much, you're not going to bring that crowd every time. But that's, a lot of people don't care about that, and that's fine.
And Bob was asking Mike if they cleared that with the venue beforehand. I would think that Under the Sun, being as professional a group as they are, they would do that. At least say, hey, we want to bring somebody on stage on our breaks or whatever. Kevin said, when you're on break, you're still at work. Don't disappear for 30 minutes. Yeah, don't go to the car and have a safety meeting with your vape.
That's about 50% of my bands do that.
Yes.
Not my bands, the bands that play.
And Quentin, I know you like to mingle, man. I've been to your band shows. You guys, you're wonderful at that. And you guys are great at being ambassadors for the band. And I think that's what's so cool. And Brandon Harvey, by the way, you're on demerit status with me for Name That Tune. I haven't seen you all year yet. You better show up. Your team's been there, though. Says he does his best to rest his voice to break, but never ignore a fan or someone who wants to give their comment. Yeah.
While we're on the subject of filling time, this became a topic too.
Hi, Kevin.
Sunday from The Voice, from our show, is let's limit the talking.
On stage?
Yeah. Like when you're talking so much, like, and if you're going to talk, make sure it has something to do with what's happening. But when you're taking up literal minutes upon minutes upon minutes to talk, you're losing people. And I know for a fact the amount of comments I got from specific things were like, man, if this person would have just shut up and played, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, there are certain rooms that like that and other rooms that
Lounges.
don't. Yes. Where? Lounges? Did you? Well, yeah, or listening rooms and singer-songwriter showcases and all that. But I also appreciate, Kip Winger was an example. He came to your place. He told great stories. You know what I mean?
Kip Winger.
Well, I get it, but Kip Winger talked a lot.
He did, but I didn't notice because it had something.
Because you were looking at Kip Winger.
Not at all, because he was discussing what he was doing. There's people that literally are on stage to play music and talking about how their car is broken down and they had to do this, and it goes into a 10-minute story. Nobody cares about that.
Okay. You heard it here first. That was judgment, by the way, everybody.
I don't give a shit. That's why we're on here.
Total judgment. Judgment. What else we got? Doing band business. Listen to Brandon. That's an excuse, Brandon. If I ever heard one, it's okay.
Audrey's, you're going to have to message me and tell me who this is to make sure I don't book them.
Where are we at? Oh, Audrey's Frogtown.
Listen, there's say you can talk a little bit, but
sometimes the talking on an acoustic act is to buy time because you don't have a big enough set list to play 3 hours. I've seen that happen a lot.
Well, that's
when you
shouldn't, and you will never get booked again, just like Audrey's Frogtown Tavern. Yeah, Kip has stories to tell.
Well, he did, but I like storytellers as long as it's relevant to the song.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't attack me.
I'm not, but you're.
Oh my God! Here, go right ahead.
The one that's like,
go right ahead.
Oh, whatever, dude. It's gaslighting bullshit.
Bye. Love you.
Huh?
Not a thing. I love it when you get passionately angry at me.
No, you nip. You do this.
I am. I'm nipping at you today.
JJ Great. JJ Great is a fantastic storyteller. I like.
Yeah. And again, but his stories are relevant to the songs and things that he's playing. And that's kind of, I think, what you're saying, isn't it, Karis? That you want to make sure that it's relevant to the thing, not what you had for breakfast this morning and those kind of things, which I see bands do sometimes. What's Brandy got to say?
Well, another reason why they probably ain't going to get booked again. Too drunk to play.
I've seen that happen. Have you seen that happen?
I've seen that happen.
We did a show on that one day, I think.
Yeah. It's called I think it all comes down to being professionalism,
I think you have to understand too, certain people come to shows that on some nights they're on it, some nights they're not. And that's the band, that's the audience. Someone that maybe comes to your show and is really high energy and loves to be there and see it may have a bad night and they're just not on it that night. And it doesn't mean they don't like you. It doesn't mean that they, you ruined their evening or whatever. I think a lot of that comes into play when we're talking about this disappointment when a band comes in with less than the product you thought you were going to go see. I would be the one, I think Marianne said it a minute ago, and just get up and leave if they're going to take a 45-minute break and they're only singing to tracks and they're screwing around up there doing what I didn't pay to come see, so I don't know. Hi, Nikki.
I would be pissed as a customer that paid a cover, which is one of the reasons, I find covers tough. I mean, it's knock on wood, it's working for us, but this makes me even more like cautious about what bands that I'm picking, even more cautious because I'm now charging a cover and I will not charge somebody a cover to come see a disappointment. That's just completely unfair.
End of story. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's your view as an owner, and you're welcome to have it. And everybody ought to understand that is what's happening out there in the world. And if you show up with a lesser product than what you booked, you're probably going to get told about it, at least at Karis's place. Some people are too nice. Sometimes they don't tell people about it, or they're too busy taking care of business that night to even address it. But it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be talked about ahead of time. If you're not showing up with it, you better call and give that owner an out. If they want an out, give them an out.
Yeah.
You know, what's Chad got to say? Chad, you ain't right, brother.
I like Chad. He makes me laugh. A laugh, laugh.
That would be, can you imagine that? 40 cowbells in the audience with a bunch of drunk people and a stick. Look out. That's bad. That's bad. What else you got today, Karis? Anything?
That's it. That's all I got.
You done?
I talked about what you got, Scott.
I got nothing else. I don't think. Oh. You got a big week coming up. And by the way, this show today is sponsored by our friends at the Bell and the Bear, who Karis is so gracious to co-host with me. And we have a new sponsor on our Thursday show coming up this week. Heather's has taken over the sponsorship for Thursdays.
Oh, that's so good.
We love that. And I'm glad,
awesome.
You know, we did that show and we were talking about it. And the next morning I got a phone call from Heather. She says, I'm in. I want to do that. So I thought, how cool is that? So
I love Heather.
Yeah, she's a wonderful person to work with and for and all that. She runs a great business. And she puts a lot of passion into it as well. So it's fun. And, you know, and when we're talking sponsors here, guys, it's not thousands of dollars or any of that, but it keeps us open and keeps the ball rolling a little bit here. And we appreciate that very much from our sponsors. And like Karis giving her time here as she does every Tuesday to jump on and spread joy and judgment across the tri-state, which is what we try to do. If you've got a topic you would like us to address, please slide into our DMs. You can send it to the Bell and the Bear. You can send it to me, and we'll do it. This was a good topic today. It
was good, yeah.
You were fired up on that one, and I was glad when you sent that last week. I was like, yeah, that's a hot button one I've heard a lot about. And,
yeah.
You know, and this time of year, it's tough. There's a lot of outdoor events going on. I had somebody write in this week, too, and say, why don't you cover the fact that we get canceled because of weather all the time and blah, blah, blah. Well,
we've done that show.
That's a dice roller. It is. I mean, this time of year in April, when you're playing an outdoor show at Crimers or you're playing under the patio at Heather's and it gets down to 30 degrees, nobody's going to come.
Listen, there's no one to blame for outdoor shows and weather. You can't blame anybody. You can't blame the venue, and you can't blame the bands.
No, and my God,
you're taking a risk. You either agree to do outdoor shows or you don't. That's it. It would be a really short show.
We're out. Boom. Done. All right, let's see. Let me look at a couple more comments here. And Quentin says, made his drive to Cleveland more enjoyable. Thank you, Quentin. I love the fact that you're listening while you're driving, because I at least have a face for radio. Karis is the good looking one here. And who else we got? Bill jumping in there.
Thanks, Bill, for all your videos, buddy. Thanks, Steve. It's not, but I'm trying.
Thank you for that shameless plug, Audrey's. Rain or shine, Thursday night bike night. There we go. All right. And Audrey said, thank you. Bands and venue. Boy, we've said that a few times on this show. Bands and venues need to work together. How about it?
That's literally that. Yep.
And one more here, Steve. So he had a lot of fun last Thursday at Jim's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a party I wish I could have come to last Thursday. That was good. It did. But I got a chance to see Kevin McCoy Thursday, which was good. I love Kevin McCoy.
I do too.
So you've got the voice competition on Sunday. What do you got Friday and Saturday this week?
Saturday, I have Miss Jackie. Friday, I have Second Wind.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're killing it. Killing
yeah,
Miss Jackie.
Our slow season's coming up, so that's gonna make me sad.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
It's still busy when it's even slow there. It's good time, and the music is great. So thank you, Karis. I appreciate you being here today. Karen. What else we got? Anything else before we go bye-bye? I got to get the theme out of here. Talk to me.
I
You
don't
done?
really have nothing.
All right. We don't have any this or that or that or this. Or after last week's questions, I'm not sure I want to ask those ever again. But it was a little crazy. Thank you, Gina McCann. Love you.
Love ya.
Thank you, Mike. We're out of here, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
We gone. I'm heading to Mr. Burroughs Tavern to have a little fun tonight
Bye.
with Tuesday Trivia. What do you got going tonight?
I'm going to rest my back because I'm in an immense amount of pain.
I'm sorry to hear that. You didn't tell me that before the show.
No,
I would have asked you to do back bends or something.
no.
Thanks, everybody. Somebody's
Thanks,
been to the
Patricia Hall.
Patricia. Yeah, there you go. I don't know Patricia, but we got the same last name. Thanks, Patricia.
I don't know
Goodbye,
if you
Karis.
enjoyed it. You just said it was packed.